Alright, so we'll take a look at that gold exclusively on this video. I've been covering gold for a little bit here. If you've been sticking with me, you'll definitely know. I bought it in front of you on the 22nd. Alright, so 22nd that morning. This is the price that you really want to keep an eye out for. I did tell you if they come back and touch that they were going there in that video. But I said those sellers are up at 43.26, but this price right here is really important. That's why I say it's a major problem how they behave there. So if you don't know how to trade and want to go in and direct your focus here, I read the chart, no indicators on it at all, not a one. All right, so come there, indications here, and you can learn what I have located right there. So this was before the contract rollover. All right, the FOMC drove it back up to that price. All right, if you've been following the videos, you know what it's been looking like. And then of course this is after the rollover, so they're above it. All right, I don't know if you caught that. We headed to it. Okay, we headed to that price, that 40.97. We headed to it, but once the FOMC happened, the rollover, they used those two areas there, where those two lines, those particular prices, for support and try to drive it up and come back down towards it. All right, so that's what you look like with that rollover. Now, that's that information here. Now, since that rollover, they pushed up a bit more. They came down there and look at what they did, got right back into those exact prices that I give you guys. But they just never made it back up to where the sellers were. And this is where they're at currently. All right, so coming under these prices and remaining, this is the problem. That 40.90.7, again, this is contract rollover. Once they get under here, and they refuse to get back up, which I'm guessing at this point that's all that's get ready to happen, unless I'm completely wrong. That 43.26 was the key, kind of like the NQ when I gave you guys the prices for that. They managed to just overshoot it slightly, and then they took off and been down ever since. If they get under here, I told you don't trust these guys unless they are above it. Now here's the interesting thing with that contract rollover. They wasn't above it until the contract rollover took place, right? Now, once the contract rollover happened, they were above it. You were able to get the long. But this is where they're coming, and this is the thing that's concerning to me. That they're back down here. All right, so just be very careful how they behave if they go back under here. Now, hopefully, this is just a trap to get everybody involved on a short, only to go back up and go give them sellers a test. Up here at that 43.26. It's up here that's a problem, really. I want to tell you that. That's why you kind of keep getting that pressure back down. But with them again rolling over that contract and being above this, I don't like how they did that. But it could end up being the case where they just chasing you out, won't really trade beneath here, and then turn around and come back up. I'm gonna be honest, it don't look that way. Not in my eye. It don't look that way. I think that the way that they're playing this, they may attempt to stay under that price. All right, so I may not come back and cover this. I want to just go ahead and tell you that if they can maintain under that 40.90.7, then it's all great. And just keep aiming down. I did tell you guys that as long as they can stay below it, just aim down. Every time they lift up, it's the contract rollover that kind of pushed them above that price, and that's the thing to keep an eye out for, because you don't want them above it if you're really trying to stay down, because then you have to just be mindful of the fact that they can move from here, back up to here, and that's quite a bit of room. Okay, so that's why I told you guys in that post that this could take a while. All right, so this, I did say that. All right, this could take days. So I'm giving you information that's ahead of price, and knowing that it can take a significant amount of time in order for this stuff to develop. I wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.